7:08. I think I know most people in the room, but we'll just go through quick introductions here real quick with the board. Starting on this side.
Lisa Kaplan.
So, and I'm Monica Rosenthal, the current chair.
Bill Wait.
Vice chair.
Nanette DeDonato.
And Charles Morse.
All right. So if we could all stand, please, and salute. And oh, I'm sorry, Bill. And Charlie, if you could lead us.
It's over here now.
Oh, that's right. It's on this side.
I did the same thing.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I know. Do you have the mission statement? And they don't put it in school anymore. Usually there.
No.
Oh.
He usually brings it.
That's so cool that you did that. Oh, you got it. Okay. I'll share this with you then. That's our speaker tonight.
Okay.
Just say it in simple terms. We agree to disagree and not make noise over each other.
Okay, next up on our agenda is the mission statement, but I don't, do we have it?
I don't have it.
Okay, so we're going to skip over the mission statement tonight, if that's all right with everyone, unless somebody brought it.
The math is a town hall. We agree to disagree and not step all over each other.
Fantastic. Okay. And do we have a moment of silence that anyone would like to request?
Metcalf.
Oh,
What?
Vicente Corazon.
Moment of silence for Metcalf. Or not Matt Woodard.
Oh,
Matt Woodard.
I was like,
Sorry.
what happened to,
Yep.
does
Matt
he know?
Metcalf's still around. Still here.
Okay.
And Vicente Colacion.
Okay, so if we'll just take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Next up on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and before we do that, I would like to add one item that was received after the agenda was completed, or at least to my knowledge, and that is a letter that we received, a complaint letter. So that will be under the correspondence, item number C. So with that addition to the agenda, I would accept a motion to approve the agenda.
Move.
May I ask a question regarding, it's a complaint letter?
Yes.
Is it formatted?
If you're going to talk, we do need you to come over here to the mic. I'm sorry.
I just want to know if it was sent in right, that's all.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question? Was it formatted right with the note and chair?
It didn't get on the record.
The question was the complaint letter received per, I believe you're referring to per the bylaws?
Yes.
Yes.
And it was
Right,
item
Madam.
Item what?
C.
C,
7C
under
other.
correspondence.
The correspondence.
Yes, where we'll attend to that and any other correspondence that I may or may not be aware of that the board has received. So again, with that, I would accept a motion to, thank you, and is there a,
Move to approve. Yeah.
you already approved, you already moved.
And
So,
approved.
would you like to second?
Second, sure.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, and then next is the approval of the January meeting minutes. I hope everyone has had a chance to review those.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any comment? I guess I should have asked that first. Any comments on the meeting minutes?
We already moved. Approved it.
Yes, right, never
One
mind.
thing
Aye.
I'd comment on is that we took a vote to take item number 5 and to move it up to 3 last month, so that it would come sooner. So basically, the public input as number 3 instead of 5. Isn't that something we voted on last time?
Just for the
I
one.
know who. I mean, Fletcher basically
Just for the one
asked for it,
meeting,
and we all just
Yeah.
said, "Okay, give it to him."
Correct.
Yeah,
All right.
just to answer that, item 3,
Okay, we have to talk into the
We gotta
mics.
talk into the mic. Come on.
So,
that's the way to shut everybody up.
Why don't you get a
I'm sorry, but you
chair a
can
little
sit right
closer?
here.
Let's just move your chair over there.
I'm happy to see it. Is it on?
No, can you just turn the green button up top?
Green button on top.
Or black button, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a problem with this agenda at all. I'm happy that we've moved public input to the head, but for instance, item 4 won't be an issue next meeting, will it? So item 4 is not a regular
Exactly.
agenda item.
it'll be
So
real quick. If we could
make-
move on, it would be real quick.
Just take it easy. Take a deep breath. You'll be all right. So actually, public input would be item 3 if
Perhaps.
it should immediately following the minutes approval.
Agenda. Yeah.
Should be the next item is public input. Because this is, as your mission statement stated, it is a town hall. We
Yes.
should be hearing from the people. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you. Okay, so we had a motion and a second, and we voted on the acceptance of the minutes, and then I messed that up. And so now, any opposed?
No.
Okay, seeing none, then we'll file those minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, next item on the agenda is just to report back to the body what the math board, to announce the executive board of math. And so what the board has decided is that I will remain as chair, Bill is the vice chair, and Lisa Kaplan is the secretary. And now moving on to public, and by the way, too, just so everyone knows, that's the one thing that this board can do outside this meeting and do, as I just said, just report back. So that's why we're not taking a motion or approval on that. Public input. So everyone may speak for 3 minutes on a topic that is not on the agenda. Thank you.
Helen Owen, do I mention that I'm District 1 Supervisor or no?
Why
Yeah.
not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just want to congratulate Monica Rosenthal. She is our District 1 planner. So,
Yes, and if I can just add a word to that, Helen, thank you very much for selecting me. And Helen did run a very good and thorough interview process involving the community members to interview the candidates that had submitted applications for the planning commissioner. So I thought you did a great job with that, and I enjoyed the questions. And thank you for selecting me. So, and now we are up to our guest speaker.
Is that all the public input?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, public input. And first off, let me apologize because I just got in on a flight last night, and anyway, so it's been a little bit of a wild day. So I'm not quite as focused as perhaps I should be. I apologize for that. So yes, please, let's continue with public input.
Am I correct in,
So we have to use the mic.
I just want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Am I correct in
Don't let her
assuming,
get away with it.
Yes.
You're gonna get trouble from me.
am I correct in assuming that the complaint you're talking about is my complaint?
You could assume that, yes.
Because otherwise I'd add it in public import and I didn't
Okay,
see how-
so if we're going to continue, you need to use the mic. Everyone in the room has to come right up here to this mic, okay? Yes, so,
You said yes. Correct.
so public input, 3 minutes. Anyone have any public input? Is there any events going on, any activities?
Go, yes. You need to sit over there.
Couple things. One, I want to announce that the chili cook-off will be held again this year, and it is an event that raises money for the senior center. To date, we've raised about $50,000 in money for the senior center, and I want to thank Lori for helping us and being the guardian of the treasurer. The chili cook-off takes no money at all and doesn't even touch money. It all goes directly to the senior center, and we're very happy to be a part of that, and we look forward to another successful one this year.
What's the date, please?
It is 13th May
That's a-
13th, the weekend before Labor Day weekend.
Okay, the 13th is a Tuesday. So it must be the 17th of May.
I thought it was the 13th.
I think the 17th is
17th.
right.
It's a Saturday.
Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, the 17th.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
trust you.
That's nice.
Okay, the second thing is, there's an old saying, if you're going to eat crow, you ought to eat it warm instead of cold. So I'm here to eat crow. And I want to tell you what it's about. Some time back, they had some kind of a motion to paint the water tanks.
Oh.
And to tell you the truth, I thought it was kind of silly. But I want to tell you now that that has been something that has added to this community. It's just wonderful to see that. I don't know who designed it at all. Nobody I know or nobody I like. But it's wonderful. It looks wonderful, and it's great for the community. It's great for Middletown. It's great for Lake County. And I know people driving in look at it and admire it. And it's just not a set of water tanks anymore. It's, God, I hate to use these words, but it's a work of art, actually.
It is.
So shut up. So I want to thank Lisa
Thank you.
face to face for, I know she was instrumental in it. It's magnificent, and I'm very proud to know you and thank you for that
Thank
hard
you.
work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Monica?
Thank you, Fletcher.
Can I add something?
2,
Yeah.
okay.
I just want to say that if you're not familiar with the senior center, it provides low-cost meals for seniors over 60 and also to homebound seniors that cannot get out. And so it's Meals on Wheels. It's a great program.
Hi, Terry Ibarra, and I just wanted to bring up that Career Day is coming up in April. It's April 11th at the high school, and so that's an event coming up in our community. Mama is also putting on a mixer. If anybody is a Mama member, the next mixer is February 25th, 6 p.m. at Langtree Vineyards. The public is welcome. Yes, public is welcome. And I guess those are kind of the up and comings. Anything to add, Tanya? No? Okay.
Can you give us more information about
Nothing about a drone show?
Okay, I'll answer that right after.
more information about the career day, please?
Career Day is something that Mama kind of contributes to along with the high school and the middle school and all businesses. We pull from businesses all over the place, including businesses from Sacramento even. Basically, we set up a bunch of booths and bring the kids through. It's 8th grade through 12th. And we talk about our careers. We talk about different ways that they can get there, what channels that they should take if this is something that they're interested in. They can ask any questions about the careers. We try to have a little bit of everything there. I represent usually the event planning community. We have colleges there, so they can talk to colleges. We usually have military options. We have construction. I mean, it's just, we pull from literally everything. And that way kids can see what jobs are available to them in the future and hopefully kind of start thinking about their path.
And the time and day, and how do we decide if we want to do it? How do we do it?
You can email us from our Mama website if you would like to participate. Just reach out, or you can connect with me even after this. I can take your information. And it'll be on April 11th is the actual day of Career Day, and setup starts super early because kids are going to be in that door basically once school begins at 8:30. So we typically start setting up our booths at around 7, and we're there all day, all the way through until they stop bringing in kids, which typically is about 3 p.m. So it's pretty great though, because we can change a lot of lives, hopefully give a lot of ideas to kids. Okay, so I heard mention of a drone show. I would really love to bring at least the feel of fireworks back to us. I know that there's obviously a fire risk there. So alternatively, I'm thinking about drone shows. I've been connecting with different businesses, seeing if I can get any kind of funding for drone shows, because obviously it is expensive. But currently I am getting approval from the Hidden Valley Greenview restaurant. I'm in communication with them on whether or not they would allow us to host a drone show there. Plenty of parking. They could potentially use it to just get some of the business names out there from Hidden Valley Lake area. A great thing for our community and something for togetherness, and to bring more people from the surrounding areas into our community to flood the area with income. So that's the goal. Yes.
What was the date of the mixer?
The date of the mixer? Next mixer is February 25th. It's a Tuesday, and it's at 6 p.m. at Langtree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Tom?
What's your last name, Tom?
Think about this.
Maybe Monica knows. Monica can help me. I don't know.
Last name is Lasik, L-A-J-C-I-K. I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to share some information. I was at the Big Valley Area Council yesterday, and some members from the Cobb Local Area Plan made a presentation, and I think it might be, and I was pretty excited to hear about it. So I can't remember all the gentlemen's names, but one was Elliot Hurwitz.
Yes.
And Tim, thank you. Thomas was there too. Anyways, they shared basically a really good success story of how they've aligned their local area council with a nonprofit that was formed after the fire. And they have been very successful in getting funding for projects. So I'm not going to, I don't want to have any spoiler alerts, but I think it might be a good idea to invite them, put them on the agenda, because one of the takeaways I got from that was that there are funds that the nonprofit can apply for grants and things like that the county can't. And there are things that the county can get that they can't. And they work together to create a plan, and they use that plan as leverage to get more funding for things in their community, like fire safe and water resources, recreation, what have you. So it seems to be a really interesting model. The Kelseyville, the Big Valley group was pretty excited about it. I just want to pass along. It might be worthwhile to invite them here so you can hear what they have to say, because it might be it might be something that can help bring funding for things that I know this town hall has been asking for, maybe couldn't get the money right away. I asked him after the meeting, they got a $200,000 grant to put a plan together. And from that, plus other things, they were able to leverage that to get something like 1.2 million in grants and funding for their area. So it's an opportunity that can help provide a win-win. Anyway, I just want to share that and pass it on. And
It was Chris, I'm sorry, it's Chris, not Tim.
Chris, sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. But
Okay.
anyways, it was a great meeting. It was a great presentation. So I think it might be worthwhile for to sort of spread the word.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing good information.
I have something.
Anybody else? Public comment? Lisa?
Middletown Arts Center will be there's a musical performance called Harlem Voices that will take place at Middletown Arts Center on March 8th. Tickets are available online through our website. It is a musical performance by Clovis Lewis with vocalists and a 5-piece quintet, a piano quintet with strings. We're going to turn the Middletown Arts Center into a speakeasy for the evening because it takes place in the Prohibition area. And it'll be a lot of fun. There'll be food and drinks available for purchase and pretty moving music. We did the first one at Upper Lake this past weekend, and later on there'll be shows at the Soper Reese with a 12-piece orchestra and 4 vocalists. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in Black history and the Black experience, to get tickets at middletownartcenter.org/Harlem-Voices. You can see it on our front page. It's a very moving show. Thank you. Oh, and you can dress up.
And that's March 8th at what time?
March 8th from 6:30 to 8:30.
All right, and I see that Linda Dill Darms is not here, so I'll make a brief announcement on her behalf, as I know she contacted me. But if you like crab, there's a crab feed at the Lions Club at 5:30 on March 1st, and I think tickets are selling pretty fast. So Linda Darms is a great person to connect with if you'd like to enjoy an evening with friends and have some delicious crab. Okay, and with that, seeing nobody else come up to the mic, I'm going to close public comment unless there's somebody else on the board here that has something.
I've got one thing, and I'm speaking on behalf of my neighbor, since we do have somebody here from the county, I think it is, for transportation. Has anybody else had an experience where the county is coming in during these floods and they're just breaking right through the road, but they're pushing, they're destroying the road and pushing the water onto their properties? There needs to be a better way, and I told them to come and voice the problem. But we have a big problem on Hildebrand where it's flooding out, cars are getting stuck. The county comes through and just makes it worse, and they leave within 10 to 15 minutes. They tear up the whole road and then leave. They've got less road to drive on and more water to come in. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what I got for now on that one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and with that, I will close public comment and we will move on to our speaker for the evening. I'd like to introduce John Specka with, you go for it.
Lake County Planning Council?
Yeah, the Area Planning Council.
Turn some lights off.
And John's been going around the county and making some presentations, and he's here with us tonight. Bring us up to date. Thank you.
Okay, okay, it's on. My name's John Spika. I'm with the Lake Area Planning Council. And I'll explain in a second who we are. First of all, I want to thank the M.A.T.H for having us. We're trying to get the word out that we're in the process of updating what we call the Regional Transportation Plan and the Active Transportation Plan. But first I want to go quickly through a couple slides here of who the Lake Area Planning Council is. we are a regional transportation planning agency for the Lake County region. So we're not county public works, but we do work with county public works, and we work with the other two local jurisdictions in the region, being the two city public works departments. Our board is made up of locally elected officials, so 2 county supervisors, 2 council members from each of the 2 cities, and 2 at-large members. We have a couple of advisory bodies, one being the Technical Advisory Committee that meets monthly and made up mostly of public works officials as well as community development officials. And the second one being the Social Services Transportation Advisory Committee, or Council, excuse me. And they are focused on transportation for seniors, disabled, and low-income residents. A lot of transit or kind of dial-a-ride kind of issues at those meetings. And there's a couple other roles. I mean, we administer the emergency call box program throughout the county, the yellow boxes on the highways. And the APC board also serves as the board of the Lake Transit Authority, so the public transit. So what do we do? Primarily, we allocate transportation funds. So those come from the feds, those come from the state. They come into our body and we work with the region. So as a lot of money comes for transportation projects, and we work with the 2, like I said, we work with the 3 jurisdictions of the county, the county of Lake itself, and then the city of Lakeport and Clear Lake. We also work with Caltrans quite a bit, who own and operate the state highways around the county. And we work closely with them for funding purposes. We also assist the local agencies in getting funding for the projects they need for their individual jurisdictional needs. Of course, we're a regional entity, so we try to make sure that most projects that are funded have a regional benefit to some extent, but sometimes it is just kind of purely local as well. And we also prepare a lot of plans for the county, for the region, I should say. And the big one being our regional transportation plan. And it's kind of our general plan, if you want to think of it that way, for our agency, because it kind of guides what we do as far as getting transportation projects implemented in the county. So what is a regional transportation plan? Well, it's, like I said, it's a long-range document along the lines of a general plan, 20-year time span. It gets updated every 4 years. So the last one was 2022. This one we hope to be able to adopt by February of 2026. So we have a year to go, more or less. And what is the plan really look at? It is basically promoting safe and efficient transportation systems to move people to where they need to be and goods throughout the region. And it includes several different modes. Now, the modes could be, most people just think of roads when you think transportation, which is obviously one of the major components, but it's also sidewalks, it's also bike lanes, it's also public transit, it's also, there's a tribal transportation component to the plan as well. There's an aviation component. We don't have rail up in this area, nor do we have maritime, but those are the other types of transportation that can be considered for different regions. And so it's also an update of the active transportation plan, which is, it's part of the regional transportation plan, but it's a standalone document. And the active transportation plan focuses on pedestrian and bicycle networks. So it's, one of those, or a couple of those modes that I just discussed are dealt with in this plan. The whole idea is of a separate kind of plan for the active transportation component is to be within this plan you become, if a project is listed in this plan, when it gets updated, it becomes eligible for state funds through this active transportation program. Caltrans and the state have really been pushing the last several years for active transportation type projects, getting people out of the car, walking and biking, and for health purposes and greenhouse gas purposes and several other benefits to it. And so we developed a separate plan for this at one point. It kind of got folded into our regional transportation plan since 2017. So this one gets updated too, but it's basically one of the elements of the larger regional transportation plan. And it could stand on its own. So it's a little bit confusing, but it's all kind of in the same boat. So the plan itself is looking to identify the needs for the several transportation modes. So there's a state highway element. There is a local streets and roads element. There's a bike and pedestrian element, which is the active transportation plan. There's a public transit element, a tribal element, an aviation element. And so those are sort of rounds out exactly, the different areas that we're looking at to have projects listed. And where do we come up with these needs and prioritization that I'm talking about? Well, we talk to the local and state officials to see what their needs or what's on their kind of priority list. We also talk to the tribal governments, and we start talking to the public. We're a year out, but that's why we're kind of getting the word out now, is to get input from you and the rest of the general public. We have a web page with a project site page that has surveys, and it has an interactive kind of mapping tool where you could drop a pin and kind of leave comments. This is a really problematic area. This isn't safe here. Safety is a big deal throughout this whole process. So those would be those needs, and which ones rise to the top, of course, are the bigger priorities. It's obviously limited by the size of the budget, which it's never big enough. So that's why some have to take precedent over others, some projects. Just to go over the quick outline of how our process is going to work, we're going to have this kind of outreach process. I'm giving presentations. I've already given to the Board of Supervisors. Last night I was in Kelseyville for the Big Valley Advisory Council. I'm here tonight, and I'm going to be doing several other town halls and advisory councils as well. Tribal outreach, trying to get the word out. And we want as many people as we can to get to our website. I'll show you how to get there at the end here. And then once we get all the public input, we will kind of start sorting stuff out, and kind of late spring, early summer, we'll start to kind of identify and prioritize and have the lists all kind of drawn up of where the big projects should be for the next 20 years. Summer and fall, we'll have an environmental document prepared under CEQA, the Environmental Quality Act. And by late fall, we should have a draft ready for review by the public and the agencies. And at that point, we're kind of wrapping it up, but we'll take all the comments and see if there's any revisions that need to be made over time, over the next couple months since then. And we are hoping to adopt in February of next year. So the whole reason I'm here is to let you know that this is what we're doing, and we want your input. So what do you think, is going to be important to your community? What problems do you want to see addressed? What barriers to transportation do you find to be most problematic? Tell us anything you can, because it kind of relies on the public. And that's kind of where we're at. So, here's there's a QR code that will put you straight to our website or our web page with interactive mapping tool and the survey. You could also just email me direct if you have something that you wanted to do. Just tell me straight out. There's our physical mailing address. Our offices are in Ukiah. If you're not comfortable with the kind of online survey type stuff, I do have a limited number of hard copies, and you're free to, I could leave a couple here and you're free to fill those out. I could always arrange a way to pick them up. I also have a couple on the back table. I have my business card with my address and contact info, and I also have a flyer with the QR code, and just kind of, you could get to it that way as well if you're not going to be able to do it here tonight from the QR code here. And that's sort of the long and short of it. I'd be happy to take some questions if you have any at this time. Yeah.
I'm just talking to you. My question is, how does one get find out if a project would be under your jurisdiction and able to be funded by you? And I'm going to speak specifically about Coyote Grammar School. I don't know how many kids we have there, but it's a large number. We have one road in and one road out.
It's not a public road either.
It's not a public road. So if and to the right of Coyote Valley Road, there's a very large propane tank that takes care of harvesters. And if there was a fire, then, and those things caught on fire, how would the children get out? Or how would the parents get to the children to get them out? And there's a proposal that is brought to me by our illustrious new supervisor to come up with some kind of an idea, and this fits right in with what we were thinking. Would funding be available to extend that road out going west away from the school so we could have 2 ways in and 2 ways out? Are you familiar with that school?
Not, is this one on still?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, not specifically that school, but your question would, we don't have jurisdictional authority to do anything at my position, but we do work with the county. I'm assuming this is in county's jurisdiction. So that would be the one that would have to kind of drive that process. And we would certainly be happy to work with the county to look for funding. Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, like a good part of what we do is to kind of help get funding for the region through the state and the federal.
So would this qualify for help from you to get funding for this?
No, I mean, we would certainly love to help if the county comes to us and asks us how can we get some funding for a project that we're really interested in implementing for safety purposes and that sort of thing. It's just not our role because we're not the jurisdiction or the decision makers in those situations.
That's the question then, as far as what advice can you give us if there are those specific projects that we would like to have addressed? What is the best way for us to potentially get that on the list?
Sure. So for a plan to get funding, oftentimes for like a grant program or something that comes along, it needs to be in the regional transportation plan. So we update this every 4 years. So if there's a list of those projects and, this one is like kind of a burning issue for the community, I urge you to go to our website and kind of make that known. Obviously, strengthen numbers, right? So the more people that are kind of talking about it, it becomes an issue for the county, becomes a higher kind of priority on the county's kind of list of projects. And at that point, the county might kind of ask us, can you help us with a grant for this specific project for this specific reason? So, I mean, it's kind of.
So do you have jurisdiction to request a grant like for safe routes to schools?
Yeah, we've helped work on plenty of those applications for a jurisdiction that asks us to help with the application. So we'd partner with the county to get an application.
We talk to the county.
The county's the main one as far as trying to get their attention on this matter.
Okay, I'm Helen Owen, and I'm the District 1 Supervisor, and Monica is our planner. And would you be available, because my number one complaint countywide is roads throughout the county. And this has been the school, actually, Mr. Fletcher and I had went out and met with the not the superintendent, the principal the other day last week on this issue and walked it, and it's actually in our area plan to get that done, as well as the Valley Oaks project. But I'm trying to extend it right now where it's actually, as I started thinking about it, an additional emergency way out for Hidden Valley people to get to 29. So we looked at a way to maybe tie Coyote Valley Road in. Perhaps it might not work for going completely through all the time, but for emergencies, it should absolutely work. And we walked it and looked at that. But there's a number of roads that are really in poor shape. And so I would love to meet with you, if possible, here in the South Lake County and look at some projects.
Certainly, if I could grab you my card.
I got one.
You did, great, okay.
And I was at the supervisors meeting this last Tuesday, of course.
Okay, right.
You were speaking.
And you took over for Moke Simon's
Yes.
position. Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I keep thinking that one's a lot louder.
Oh, we're here.
No, that's fine, that's fine. I just wasn't sure if it was on. So yeah, I mean, if like I said, if that's the issue that's kind of like on everyone's mind, potholes in the roads and poor road condition is usually the top issue for most people when it comes to transportation funding. They say, well, how come we can't have more, roads fixed and that sort of thing? And that's an issue everywhere.
Highest gas taxes and the forest roads.
Yeah, they're working well, right.
So do you just
Oh,
do
wait.
building of
Excuse-
roads or
excuse me.
maintaining?
Hold on. Can you
We
repeat your question?
do,
Hold on
I'm
just a
sorry.
sec.
Yeah, so does your scope include maintaining the roads or only building new roads? Or both?
Well, we're the regional transportation planning agency. So we don't implement the projects. We help plan to make sure that these things become implemented over time. So we don't maintain that, maintenance is a county or jurisdictional or the cities. And same with, building a new road or, fixing a road in poor condition. That comes from the local agencies.
So one of the things, I spent a lot of time on the road, coming back in and out of all the counties from in and out. And what we seem to notice is they're not being maintained. Drain ditches aren't kept open, culverts aren't kept open, curbs that have the water run off are not being maintained. Plants are growing over into the gutters. If a lot of that was maintained, the roads would not need to be resurfaced. And so if there's a lot of money being put into a 4-lane road that's only a few miles long in Kelseyville that goes to nowhere almost, I don't mean nowhere, but it's right in the middle of, it's not connecting, it's not doing anything major, but they're not maintaining the roads they already have. It seems like it's not being prudent and wise, and money isn't being spent efficiently. So is that part of your planning for 20 year is to figure out how to keep the life of the roads good?
Well, we do work, we do several planning documents that deal with some more specific ones. One's being a pavement management program. We do that for the specific use of the jurisdictions to know which roads are in the poorest conditions or which ones are in better conditions and that sort of thing. But everything's got to come from the local agencies themselves when it comes to maintenance or fixing roads or maintaining roads and all that. We could help with all the studies that are needed to get a grant or whatever may be necessary. Like I said, the pavement management program kind of looks at the conditions. Lake County's usually a little bit struggling as far as keeping up with some of that, and a lot of that's to do with funding, and there's a whole slew of, problems that kind of go with that.
Any other questions for John? I'll be right there.
I have a card for you too, but I know that public safety is going to be first in my book. And the Coyote Valley School is very high on that list. Another one is Lower Lake. I think that needs to be redesigned. So I'm going to give you my card, and hopefully we can get together and we can take a trip and look at some of these issues.
Okay, yes.
Question over here.
Hello. It sounds to me as though maybe these are not going to be in your immediate jurisdiction, but Middletown has faced issues with poor visibility at its crosswalks, being very dangerous to pedestrians. We've asked for flashing lights, some way for pedestrians to let the people moving through town know that they would like to cross the road, and we still have not received that. Also, there are stop signs missing in Middletown. Some perhaps were victims of the Valley Fire, but that was 9 years ago, and really we could use stop signs. And a lot of our roads in town look like the back of an alligator. Honestly, they're kind of funny, and we thought maybe we should post them on the internet just as a joke, but we have to drive on them. So we would really like maybe there to be some attention. We did notice somebody coming by in a truck that throws a little bit of asphalt on the road and then kind of drives over it a few times and then drives away. Honestly, that's not working. And I think, if you can put something in your plans, your 20-year plans, to include our little town and its needs, we would be most grateful.
Yes, we appreciate all of your
Yes.
input on it.
Quick question.
Sure.
You mentioned, are you willing to help prepare a grant request? Your office, will they help put a grant request in?
Yes, we can help prepare grants.
You can do that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a cost to us for you doing that?
No, I mean, that's part of our role, is to assist as much as possible with the public works agencies to get funding.
So, like, the action item would be that if we came up with something that we wanted done here, the math did, then we could approach you and say, hey, could you help us write a grant for this?
Yes, but it would, I mean, the county would need to be involved. So,
Okay,
so it would
that's
have
what
to
I
come-
wanted to clarify.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so can you clarify who your partners are, who you work with in order to make these plans happen for Lake County?
Well, a lot of grant programs through, say, Caltrans or the state, or federal grants. I mean, we've helped prepare quite a few. In fact, today we're speaking to Glenn March, the Public Works Director, to see what types of grant programs might fit some of their biggest road needs. And just quickly to your issue on safety, we have it's already, I think, been 10 years. There was a plan developed through our agency, a planning grant for Middletown, development kind of plan. So much of those, all those issues that you're talking about, safety, crossing the roads and all that sort of thing, they're all looked at in that plan. Now, Caltrans is sort of the owner of the state highways, which happens to kind of go right through the middle of town. So they would be the ones that would be funding those types of safety programs. And they do. There's several programs at the state level. I mean, I'm not a state employee, but we work with them pretty closely. And they have, different kind of safety projects on State Route 29 and some going through Middletown. In fact, they're working on some now, is my understanding, on the south end of town up through the middle, as far as, maybe kind of what they call road diets, maybe kind of like narrowing roads to kind of slow traffic down, and kind of the bulb out kind of crosswalks where it's a shorter distance to cross. I mean, those are the types of things that, potential remedies for the safety issues, flashing beacons and those types of projects. So Caltrans there is a focus on through Middletown as far as last I talked to Caltrans.
Yeah, so and I'd like to remind everyone that we did have Izzy from Caltrans come and make a presentation about those plans that are in motion for the Middletown area. He is planning to come back, or he and his team are planning to come back and make another presentation, as he's been working on fine-tuning those plans. I'd let you know that he has been in regular contact with me. I think he sends me an email about once a month just to let me know he's still there, still wants to come and talk to us again and give us that update. Caltrans is working with a public safety grant that, I don't know where that came from, but that's kind of where their pocket of budget is coming from in order to make these improvements in the Middletown area. So he will be back soon. Let me see if anybody else has a question first. Anybody else back here have a question that hasn't asked a question? Claude? Here you go.
Yeah, just to, I think, help John out. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. But about 10 years ago, we did this safe route to school through Caltrans. And we did accomplish a few things. But everything here, as far as think of it this way, he goes and finds the money based on what the county says is the need or the state says is the need. So if we have a project, we got to go after, hello, Helen. or Public Works or something like that, to get it to push towards having him go find the money for us. And that's how the system works. And it's long, and it gets frustrating, and it's a pain at times. And I can tell you, I've stood in his office a few years ago why things weren't happening. So in any case, that's what their purpose is. They do what the county's busy doing its everyday thing. He follows all the grant monies, what's coming out via Caltrans, be it the state, be it whatever. The other thing is to distinguish who's overseeing that road. Is it a county road? Is this the state road? Notice our state roads do a little bit better than our county roads. And there's a few reasons why that is. But as far as his job, he's not deciding what project or that. The county or the Caltrans, through our process, will direct them, hey, can you help us out with this and get it going? And then for the public's information, they put together the whole plan for the whole county. That's pretty much it, if I understand correctly, John, from years ago.
Yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming in my office and kind of breathing down our necks. That's always good too. And so part of that plan that we developed about 10 years ago did kind of come up with that multi-use trail down to the casino. That was from that plan, and that was just recently implemented. And Cloud's right, nothing happens overnight. Planning is sort of a glacial speed sport. So, but you got to start somewhere, and that's how
I just want to, if I may, point out that whole process, from inception to the trail and the plans that are in, all started right here with you people, with M.A.T.H. It all started right here. And people thought we were crazy, but we had some good partners that helped us get the money for the first study, and then the second study, and then the $1.4 million for the trail, and now the beautification and safety issues of downtown. So, but it all started right here with M.A.T.H. You guys made it happen.
I got one. Go ahead, do that.
I just want to know how long we'll have to wait for these changes to begin to happen, like maybe the stop signs or the crosswalks, because they do affect the town.
Well, I think the stop signs that you're referring to are county. They're on county roads. So,
and if those are, it's one thing to replace. If you're looking to have a new one put in, that's a whole nother process. But again, it comes through the county.
This is kind of a pipe dream, and it probably wasn't something anybody cared about until 2015. But on Hildebrand Road, there used to be 2 bridges and 2 ways out, There was a bridge that went out in 1966. Another one went out in 1998. And the 1998 bridge was rebuilt, and I think it might have been through your office on Hildebrand. They got that done. I know Fletcher was involved with that one too. That was a $1.8 million project, but we still only have one way to escape during a fire. And since 2015, I literally live next to the bridge, so you know I'm always trying to keep everything good so that people can get out of the neighborhood. Is your job kind of involve creating that old road that washed out in '66? And there was a road and a bridge actually that just went away and nobody ever cared. It just disappeared.
If we're made aware of it, then like I said, it would kind of end up in planning documents.
Okay.
Needs to
Who
be
does the
pushed to the
planning?
top.
The county, the state, or because I know the money came from the state.
Yeah, it would come through the county. I mean, that type of project.
So the
would be
county would ask the state, and the state would hopefully build it, right?
County has no money.
I know, I don't.
Right, right.
That $1.9 million bridge we have on Hildebrand is.
Right. And we work on a number of other planning projects. We frequently get a grant through the state for a planning document. Planning document isn't very exciting because, a lot of times it's just a planning document and nothing happens, but that's how it starts typically. And so, for instance,
So a safety issue like this, would that move it up the?
I mean, potentially. Like, for instance, we're working on a wildfire evacuation plan at the moment, a region-wide one. I presented here about 7 months ago on that project, and same sort of thing. I mean, we need folks to tell us, here's a big problem area. What can we do about it?
Okay. Good.
And so that's why we need to respond to the survey.
Yes.
So which we will send this out. I saw that Tara had taken a picture of this, and if you could make sure that Lisa has it, if Lisa doesn't already, then we'll
like
get
to-
that out to everyone, and encourage everyone to do the survey.
Yeah.
Any other questions
I
from
have
the audience?
Two quick questions. Can
Okay.
you send me the PowerPoint so I can share it?
Yeah.
And also, what is the deadline for getting the input in?
I haven't really set a hard deadline. The next, say, 3-4 months, we're going to be taking
3-4 months.
public comment. I do have some flyers too with the QR code and my card too. So if people want to contact me that way.
Okay. Thanks. You can just send it to the math email that you have here.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, this is something that costs no money. So it would be really nice. Currently, the bus that goes over 29 to Calistoga does not articulate in terms of time with the Vine. If it did, what ends up happening is people that are taking the bus up from the Bay Area, we all go over the mountain to pick them up and have to come all the way back, which is kind of defeats the purpose. But if the bus actually timed itself well with the Vine coming there, we've got SFO, Oakland Airport, San Francisco, everything reachable by public transit. And that seems like an easy sort of thing to adjust.
So we, and I hate to sound like I'm just constantly passing the buck, but we do work with the transit agency, and that's a transit agency issue as far as bus scheduling and connections and that sort of thing. I know that it's a constant issue to try to make everything work as well as possible. So, but there is a transit element within our plan that I'm talking about, and that's certainly a nice comment to add. So, it could be known that this is an issue that people are concerned about.
Perfect.
The bus is, the bus is the Lake Transit Authority. It's a joint powers association between the counties and the cities, because that's where the buses run. So.
All right. I think that wraps it up. I don't see any other questions. So thank you very much, John.
Thanks for having me.
So, yes. And John was originally going to join us in March, but you're going off on vacation, right?
No such luck.
Oh,
But
sorry.
I'm going to a training next month, so
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't able to make it next month.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. Okay, so next up on our agenda is correspondence, and so I'll hand this over to the secretary. We have correspondence? Oh. Okay, well, let me go over the first item is the Cannabis Task Force. I don't know if you received notices on that
I
or
did.
not.
There's all kinds of cannabis task force stuff. Does everybody want me to send whatever I get, just like push it out there?
No. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. The Cannabis Task Force, actually, they've canceled more meetings than they've had recently. So hopefully that'll get back on track. I know they're shooting for like about March to complete that project. So we'll see what happens. Planning projects in the Middletown area.
That one, Nancy's, whatever, the one that everybody is very upset about. Isn't it called Nancy's something or other? I believe that was in the packet that I sent out, or in a second send that I sent out.
What was it about?
NOI? N-O-I?
Oh, that's a notice of intent.
Was it, but wasn't that about that's a Jerusalem grade, that's kind of, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was another one that I sent out. Guys, what's the one that's near your house that you guys don't want? Isn't Nina, that one, yeah.
So they did an appeal, right?
No, they
Okay,
did
we
appeal.
need to use the mic.
They did appeal.
Right.
So
We don't have a date.
we don't have a date. It goes to the supervisors, and the last two meetings I've been checking every time. They don't put the agenda up right away, so it's like you have to check it every Friday, Ellen told me. And there's a holiday next week, so it will not happen next week, so possibly the week after.
No, and I would like to meet with you guys again too before that meeting, please.
Okay.
Great. So the question is,
Thank you for coming to the mic.
Yeah, if we got a notice in the mail because I'm across the street that they were having the meeting originally, do they have to notify the public of a meeting for the hearing, for the appeal?
Yes.
So we should get something in the mail saying what the date is.
Yes.
I never
Okay.
received
Especially if you
anything.
participated before. That's when
Yes.
you write your
Okay.
name down, when you go up to the mic and you
Right.
write your name on that little sheet.
So we should be expecting something in the mail as a notifying of the date. Okay.
Yes.
Could
And
you
it
introduce
doesn't-
yourself, please?
Thank you.
My name is Beth Kershaw. Yeah.
For that kind of stuff.
And again,
That was
that
for
may or may
Jerusalem,
not
but I
happen
didn't
soon.
call
It may take a couple of months.
Not the
I know that I think Helen knows this, also the Board of Supervisors agenda has been pretty packed as they've been going over governance and revisiting some budget items. So it could be several weeks out.
There was something else, actually. Beth also sent us something about a link to a Blue Zones sort of Safer Streets project. Cover them in art. It sort of ties all the things together, a bunch of different things together, you know, on the one hand, the roads and the safety, on the other hand, art. I mean, it requires money. There are some grants and projects out there. I'm happy to do a little bit of basic poking to see what the deal is and if it's possible, and also be a nonprofit applicant for it if that's required. But I don't know. You know, there's people putting things on roads as well as on buildings, you know, painting the roads too to look like things. So I don't know if somebody from our blue zones in Lake County knows about this and can do a presentation. I certainly can't yet.
Should we put on the agenda to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then I don't know if excuse me for just a moment, but I don't know if Pat or somebody from Anderson Springs can speak to this, as I received a notice, a news release about the California Department of
Monica?
Forestry and Fire Protection.
I wanted to make a
Can
comment
you
on
hold on
Lisa's,
just a
No,
moment,
we want to
please?
get through all the other
I
stuff
wanted to make a
first.
comment on Lisa's comment, and I think it's best that it be made before you start another topic.
Excuse me, can you wait just a moment? Thank you.
This is about correspondence.
So, the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection has put out a news release for CAL FIRE to host webinar on the toolkit for wildfire planning guidance for California communities. And this is scheduled for Tuesday, February 18th from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where the webinar will be held online via Zoom.
Probably I should send out an email with that
Yeah.
to everybody. Thanks.
So if anyone is interested, we'll try to get that out to everyone.
Can I just make the comment I wanted to make
So
earlier?
Julia, would you like to speak now on correspondence? And the correspondence, I'm sorry, but the correspondence is usually done by the secretary and the board. So, and then we open it up for public comment.
Well,
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay,
Got public comment?
This is regarding the blue zones, that the Freedom Feeds that we are organizing are also part of a blue zone friendly, thing that is happening here in Middletown. So if you are doing a blue zone related grant, we also can use our nonprofit status to assist with grant writing. And we'd be very interested because we use completely organic plant-based food. So that's right up the blue zones alley, and it's what really basically, underlies the health that is active in blue zones. So.
Thanks.
Would you introduce yourself, please?
Julia.
In the microphone.
Julia
please.
Bono.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, and then another piece of correspondence that I personally received, and I'd like to make sure that our new board members also received similar correspondence or find out if we need to follow up on this. But we did all submit the application to the county following the election, and so I did receive a notice that I was appointed on February 4th to the Middletown area plan, and I want to confirm that other members that were newly elected to the board have also received that same or similar correspondence.
Oh, yes, I did. I did.
Well, but you didn't file.
No.
Those that
But
filed.
he doesn't have to because he wasn't reelected, right? Those of
Correct.
us-
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. No, as I said, newly
Yeah.
elected.
I did receive confirmation that I was an alternate for math, if that's what you're in reference
Yes.
to. Yes,
Yes.
I did.
Exactly.
Could you introduce yourself as well?
So sorry. Terry Ibarra.
Thank you. And Pat? No. Okay.
Did you get this on email?
I
by
got-
the way?
It's up there.
Yeah.
I know where it came through.
No, I just wanted to forward it so I can forward it. Easy.
Okay. Public I see you're standing here. You have public comment on some of the correspondence we just recently spoke about? Or,
On behalf of a Lake Town resident, I'm going to call her, put her on speaker, and put my phone next to the mic.
this
and I-
isn't on our correspondence?
Well, it is about the
No,
Cannabis
again-
Task Force? No?
No.
Or-
This is correspondence that Math has received.
Oh, that you've received?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then this would be an irregular request.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
Margot Kambara.
Okay, so can you give us an idea about what this is
Yes.
about?
This is on behalf of a Middletown area resident. She couldn't be here tonight.
But what's the topic?
Oh, she wanted to make a public comment about a cannabis permit that application, and she's requesting help.
Okay. That, So, yeah, so I guess I have to ask the membership if they would like to hear this or not. We're just going to do this by consensus. Nod your head yes or no.
Yes, the vote's very interested. Yes.
Can you be more specific about what it's
Well,
about?
no, then we're already talking about it.
No,
So
I just don't know what I'm saying yes or no to.
yeah, so this isn't part of
Okay.
our correspondence, so we need to hold off on this.
Okay.
So public input would have been a good time.
The timing was off, but, okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay. So, anyway, yeah, so do we know of other projects? There was a project list?
There was a project in Jerusalem Valley, and there was a project list, and I think I forwarded that, didn't I?
You did.
Yes.
I did, yeah, so, like, I can't read the project list. I
Yeah.
forwarded it.
Yes, so did everyone get a copy of the project list that we are now receiving from the county?
How do we sign up for those lists, to get on the list?
Come to me when we're done, and I'll just put your email right in, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody who didn't get the email.
Okay. And then the final piece of correspondence is the complaint letter that I referred to before. And with the complaint letter, could you please sit down? Or no. So with the complaint letter, because the complaint is primarily or targeting me in a lot of ways, I need to recuse myself at this time or hand over the gavel to our vice chair. So, and what I can say at this point in time is that with the correspondence we received, our bylaws do provide for a method and a means to handle complaints. And so that is how this complaint will be handled. So our vice chair will share that information with you.
What am I doing?
Oh, you didn't get my email.
Nope.
Okay. So Secretary, do you want to take this over?
Hold on. I have to get your email.
You're an officer.
And then if you do speak, pull your microphone a little closer.
Bill, pull your microphone a little closer. Yeah.
Per the math bylaws and for the record, blah, 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 blah.
Here.
Where's the bylaws? Per our bylaws, when a complaint is received by math, inform the board, us, of the complaint within 48 hours of receipt. Complaint is dated February 5th. She was on vacation. I gave you my box. I didn't get anything in my box as backup.
Okay.
Today is the 13th. I'm just saying, I
You need to
received
read
the
from
complaint.
You just need to read from the bylaws.
Okay.
Okay.
Where am I reading?
Here. Bill, can you
Just read.
All right.
Pretty straightforward.
Yes, it is. A grievance is received.
There's a grievance against a board member, the individual making the complaint shall notify the chairperson in writing via certified mail of the alleged offense. The offense in writing within 48 hours of receipt. The math board member has 1 month to respond in writing to the complaint. Upon receipt of the written response, the chairperson, vice chairperson may appoint a committee to hear the complaint or refer to it at the math board for determination. No math board member who is subject to the grievance or complaint shall be a member of said committee. A math board member who is the subject of the grievance or complaint shall recuse himself or herself from the discussion of this item by the math board. If action is taken to remove the math board member, then the math board member must be sent a notice by certified mail stating that they are no longer a member of the math board, and the Lake County Board of Supervisors must be notified of the removal. The board will vote to appoint one of the two alternate members to the empty seat and the appointee will serve until the next regular election. So it would appear that we have the complaint. And I don't,
it's time.
The board
time
is,
to form it.
the board has determined that they will form a committee. And so I need to know if anybody would like to be on that committee.
You can't be on the committee too. You
No,
can.
Okay.
I insist.
Wow.
No,
That-
pull this,
I insist.
pull this.
No, you tried this before, honestly. I insist.
Wait.
It does not say I can't be on.
I'm right now, I'm talking to the board members, please, only. I want to know what board members want to be on this committee. So,
I'll
Lisa,
be on the committee.
I will too.
Annette?
My name is in the complaint also.
Huh?
My name is also in the
You're in
complaint.
the complaint? Okay,
Okay.
and then so us three.
How many people have to be on the committee?
You're out of order. You're point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Is it 3 or 4 people?
Fletcher, if you don't mind using the microphone.
Point of order. You must hold off 30 days to give the people a chance to respond to the complaint before you could even look at the complaint.
If you will you get up to the speaker and speak that, please?
Please.
The bylaws are clear, I know because I wrote them. The person that has the complaint against them has 30 days to respond in
We
writing.
can still form a committee.
And until that response is done, you can't do anything. It would be prejudicial for you to look at the complaint, start talking about it before the people that have the complaint against them have a chance to answer it. You have to give them 30 days to answer it. So I make a motion to table this for a minimum of 30 days.
It's not a matter of a motion. They have 30 days to
That's
to
exactly
reply.
right, but I just want to put an end to it.
So we can still.
Yes, and I'd like to put an end to it also, and that's why I already responded to the board and gave them my comments on the complaint. So, and that's why we're moving forward.
Oh, you've already responded.
I've already responded.
Have you responded? Your name is on the complaint?
Sort of, not really, kind of. No, I only responded to some demands to prove that Pat was here enough times and where Monica and Pat live. But I can, I'll
Okay,
do anything with a
we need to
deadline.
move this forward, Vice Chair. So it's just forming a committee.
We'll form the committee, and the committee will look and review all.
I think the committee can have people who are not on the board as part of it.
It is the board's decision.
It is an issue against the board. It is not the board's decision on it.
Okay.
It is.
But you can't be
Wait,
the,
have that in the bylaws?
you can't be the plaintiff or accuser and be on the decision
Before,
committee.
people who were not on the board sat on the committee before when there was a complaint made. Exact
But it
same
wasn't
situation.
by the,
Vice Chair.
the complaint was made by you,
what
so
are you
how can
doing?
you judge it?
Okay,
Like,
hey, we're not doing
A
this.
point of order.
We're
I
not
want
doing
to
this
stop this
back
right
and
now.
forth.
Why am I the only one that has to come up here and speak?
Exactly, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. No, but we're done. I don't want anybody else up there.
I've got the microphone.
The vice chair
Take a
has,
hike.
the
Okay.
vice chair needs to just,
I have already stated that the committee is going to take this under consideration. At the next meeting, we will make a decision as to which way we're going to proceed and how we're going to proceed.
Yeah.
Then I make a motion to table until such
And-
time as the committee meets.
I will entertain a
Thank you.
motion to table it.
This is going over your heads.
Okay.
I just want you to know.
Okay.
It's already been put on Mike Thompson's
Into the
office.
speaker, please, so that can get on recording.
And please introduce yourself.
It is, Julia Bone, it is
And you
not
have 3
proper
minutes.
for the exact group of people that are being complained against to be sitting on that committee. Okay, this committee needs
And the
to include the
complainer, I
complainant.
don't want the complainer on the committee either, because I want an independent review at it.
I don't
And
consider
that's
you
what we are
independent.
going to do.
I don't consider you in it. You are complicit
Okay,
in this
that's fine.
situation.
You can perceive that.
Well, I do. And I
Good.
think that anyone, this is a
But
complaint
I have
against the
made the
board in general.
decision.
Every
That's the
single
way it's
last
gonna
person
be.
on this board who allowed this situation to occur should be sitting down and allowing the public, a committee made of public members, including myself, to address this issue.
Okay?
Just like
Okay.
the previous complaint was addressed by members of the public.
the bylaws do not state that.
Okay.
What
So
do they
we are
state?
going by the bylaws.
What is the exact statement, please?
So that was just read to you.
Wait.
Can you reread?
Point taken. Thank you very much. I'm proceeding the way I have it set up at present and what I just announced.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay?
I had a motion to table.
So,
There is
yes, there is a motion to table this.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
This is a matter of law. This is not a matter of.
Please, at the counter, and it's already tabled, it's already done, and it's a passed item. Thank you.
I would like to read the complaint before the public.
Okay.
That's why I sent in
So-
correspondence. I didn't expect it to be.
Math will now consider bylaw changes. Next item on the agenda.
Yes, that's me.
Thank you.
Tara said she could join us.
I'm well trained.
Thank you,
Yes.
Fletcher.
Last meeting, say again?
Again?
Name.
Okay. it's
Introduce yourself.
Fletcher Thornton. Thank you. Okay. Last meeting, there was some discussion on the election of boundaries and all that, and the chairperson kind of asked me to find out the boundaries, and the supervisor asked me to investigate the boundaries going to the county line and so on. So I made a copy of the fire district, and it's hanging on the wall, and that encompasses all of the jurisdiction for this town hall. It goes to the south all the way to Napa County, to the west to Sonoma County, and to the north almost to Red Hill Road, up on Cobb, beyond Cobb. It goes over the other side of Loch Lomond. So that's the jurisdiction. As to the election of different people from different areas, I have no axe to grind one way or the other. I can give you the history that we've always had trouble getting people from those areas to come and serve and even run for the board. It just doesn't seem to matter to them as much as it does people in Middletown or Hidden Valley. So a suggestion is to get rid of those districts and just have 5 people from this area elected to the board. Simplify it, and we still will have people from those districts. I guarantee you, we always have had, even though we've had a hard time getting them. So that's one way of doing it, or you can readjust the boundaries for those districts and make it bigger, make it smaller. It's up to you. I'm just passing on. But we've always had trouble getting people from the west to come and serve, and from the south. Thank goodness we have Charlie, and we had before him, she's from the south. We're talking about board members election. Yeah, it's great. I'm all for it. It's just in the past we've had trouble doing that, and with the latest conflict in the bylaws, maybe we ought to readjust it and restate what the districts are, and so on. I've heard some people want it to stop here, some people want it to stop there. I don't care one way or the other. But that's the overall district, and then we have north, south, east, and west. Middletown. That's the way it's supposed to be. 2 from Middletown, 3 from at-large, from those other districts. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can I comment on this?
Yes.
I would like to say that the reason that it came up is because of the election, and Julia Bono felt like she was being treated wrongly in some way, shape, or form. On the other side of it too is what do we consider Middletown is probably what we meant last week, not the entire fire district, because the people in the south. I mean, you've got the population of the people south of the casino is much higher than the population of the Indian casino itself. So we would like from the south to say that Middletown starts at the Napa County line and it ends at the Weatherwack Bridge. Great. And so those people who are totally dependent on Middletown for all of their resources, food, water, gas, all those things, they have the same rights as somebody living in Middletown proper. And that is really what the gist of it is. I think that when we open it up to somebody on Cobb who goes to the Cobb gas station and the Cobb Hardesters, they have a different agenda, as well as the ones in Hidden Valley. So this, and that's really my big tie-in. Why I'm here is I want to get the lifeblood of Middletown to come back, and I see it as the Santa Helena Creek, you know, and that's why the people settled here. That's who they are. So I would motion to do something similar, but just say, hey, everybody's a Middletowner from the Napa County line to the Weatherwack Bridge, and let's use the creek as the reasoning for why we all are Middletowners. Okay? Not to say that if you're not from Middletown or Anderson Springs, it's something wrong. I'm just saying that it would solve the problem easier and give you a lot more population.
Helen Owen. The current Middletown proper, as I was told, is it stopped at the casino, but it did go all the way out to Gwinnett, to the county line at Gwinnett, and it went to Grange Road, south of Middletown, or north of Middletown. I had talked to Mr. Fletcher at my house, and it made more sense to me, the 95461 zip code, of course, wherever it ends, going up Big Canyon would be an exception, but I totally agree, Napa County line to the south, Napa County line out at Gwinnett, but move Grange Road to the creek, because everything on south of Poudre Creek, you've only cut off the little store there, and me, but it's important. But the Poudre Creek is the boundary between Hidden Valley and Middletown. So it makes sense to move that boundary to the creek. Right now it's at Grange Road, less than a mile. So that would make more sense, but I absolutely had asked that it go to the county line, Napa County line, south of Middletown, to add that into the county proper.
Can we make a motion to that? No, not yet. There's a few problems with that. I mean, you can say that, but really where one of the problems came up with was how far west does it go? Like these are all valid and all of that, but the question is also how far west, because in the current iteration, it goes until Rose Anderson Road, right? And so, which if you're on, what's the name of your street? Mead. Then you're this way, and all the other houses, like where Trailside Park is, and up until then, are all part of Middletown proper as well. So, and also the zip code 95461, it goes all the way to Loch Lomond for some reason.
And it goes all the way up to Oak Street, to Oak Street on Cobb, which means that you have a lot of people who have the right to be here that actually fall under Kelseyville, as far as,
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that, and clarifying those other lines. What I'm asking for is the two that I'm really familiar with, which is yours, going to the county line. It just doesn't make sense to leave you in no man's land.
Right.
And to move it to Poudre Creek. And then maybe we should look at the definition of where we want it on to the west, like you had mentioned.
Well, as I understand it, there are Anderson Springs folks that consider Middletown their town.
Absolutely.
You know, so why not just include Anderson Springs?
I'm all for it.
First of all, I'd like to correct something that Charlie said. My complaint was not about me feeling slighted. My complaint was about Middletown feeling slighted. Middletown was promised representation. It has not been given that on this board. There is, this is outrageous. And I think that the people of Middletown are very upset about it. The 54 people that signed the petition have spoken out against the lack of representation on this board of the Middletown region. And Middletown really is actually a lot smaller than you're painting it. Middletown is the sewer, is really who's on the sewer.
So do you have a suggestion for the borders of Middletown?
I would say that Middletown is whoever's on the septic system, or not the septic, the sewer system. Because if you're going all the way out to Anderson Springs, we're including bedroom communities. If you go to the casino, you're including, I guess it would be called a federal jurisdiction that's completely outside of Middletown anyway.
Okay, so your proposed boundary is the septic sewer system.
Is closer to the sewer system, and
okay.
what we're and including bedroom communities such as Anderson Springs. It's completely different culture. It's a completely different community. They require their own representation, in my view, just as Hidden Valley do. I really don't think that someone from Anderson Springs can actually represent someone who lives in downtown Middletown. And people in downtown Middletown are very concerned about this. 54 people signed that petition. That's a lot for a local petition. So, and we certainly could have gotten more signatures.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Thank
Fletcher?
you very much. I wasn't gonna say anything about the complaint, but here's the thing to remember. Every one of you remember this. At any point, if you make a judgment, I can make a motion to overrule, and we can overrule her. She's nothing special. She's chairing the meeting. All decisions are made by all of you, not by them, by all of you. You either agree with them or you disagree with them. But to file a complaint against an individual that sits up there is ridiculous, because at any point, I've never heard anybody stand up and say, I make a motion to overrule the chair. Never, not once. And I've been to every meeting. So keep that in mind. I don't want to talk to you. Okay, so remember that. You're in control. This body is in control. They have no power at all except what you give them. So if you want to make a complaint against one of them, you got to make it against everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. If you'd like, well, I'd also like to make a comment that I think we should just do away with Middletown proper and the at-large completely, and just elect 5 people to the board in seat 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, electing 2 in the odd year and 3 in the even year, and just simplify matters for today and for the future. So
do we change our name to blah blah board? I mean, because,
No, we are
because
the
that's the whole thing.
We
You
are-
know what? Cobb has a board that they call Cobb. Hidden Valley has a board that they call Hidden Valley.
No,
Are we
no.
gonna, come on, this is.
we are Middletown.
Yeah, I think the identity of being Middletown is important.
Okay, excuse me.
Area, that's right.
Mama welcomes everyone. So, and they represent the Middletown Area Merchants Association. Pat, you have a comment?
I do. On behalf of the residents of Anderson Springs, the only grocery we could go up the mountain to Cobb, which is 3 miles, or to town, which is 4. But because the mountain's a pain in the butt, we shop down here ever since the store got rebuilt.
Thank
so we do know Cobb is there, but we are part of Middletown. To say we should have separate representation, there are 100 homes at this point, of which only half are full-time residents. So there's just 40 or 50 households of us. We aren't a whole lot of people. So if you orphan us, we're completely orphaned, and the same with the rest of the people on the 175 corridor, because we're Middletown. And so I just object to the idea of shoving us off someplace and saying we're not part of Middletown. It's sort of
Insulting.
well, it hurts my feelings. How's that?
Thank you. Tara, you have comments?
Hi, Tara Ibarra. So the way that I look at it is Cobb, Hidden Valley, Anderson Springs, Middletown, where do all of these kids go to middle school and high school? I mean, I know that in the certain outreaches of Cobb, they start to go over the hill to Kelseyville. But really, this is where this is our hub. This is our area. And so no matter where you live in these outskirt areas, you are Middletown. Middletown is your town. I come into Middletown multiple times a day. This is my 4th time into town today. I am a Hidden Valley resident. I went back and forth 4 times. That's because I had to take my kids to school, had to come pick them up, I had to go shopping, now I'm here. And so I feel like all of this is silly because the reality of the situation is all of us have 1 vote. I don't really care who's sitting up there, except for that I am a volunteer at heart. That's why I volunteered to be on the board, because I want it to be a successful board, and I want somebody up there. And if that has to be me, I will take a turn. I hope that everybody kind of has the same camaraderie to contribute to our town in general. The thing is every single one of us have one vote. As Fletcher said, it doesn't really matter if you're sitting up there. If you're sitting up there, you're just being beat, and you're doing a lot of work. And I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. So the thing that I don't really care if we rename the district area, the boundaries. I do think that it makes a lot of sense to include those extended areas. I think it's silly that it didn't go out to the county line in general in the first place. Like, where do those people live? They live in Middletown. I grew up on West Road, which is right past Western Mine Road. I mean, you guys that live out there, you know. That's where I grew up, and I was Middletown. That's where we went shopping. That's where I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school. This is where we are. So I just think that I'm fine with getting rid of the lines and getting, just saying Middletown area, this is the area. All of us come to this central town for everything. Or if I think that the alternative would be to extend, if we're going to break it up by, outskirts and having the separate representatives, that I think that we need to extend the Middletown local to the county lines. And I would personally probably include Anderson Springs, all of it, just because it's like, it's one road in and out. I mean, I know that there's that like one little road that goes out to Socrates or whatever it is, but it's one road basically in and out of there. That's where they are. Nobody's going out to Socrates. They're the community, right? So that's just my part that I'm gonna say.
Chairman, are you ready for a motion to get this ended?
We can have I'm not sure what the motion would be exactly,
but
but because
Just a second.
okay, so let me explain something as far as with the bylaws. I mean, I was hoping that tonight we were kind of just discussing and taking some input. So I did list it as an action item, so we could take action on it. But in the process of changing the bylaws, you do have to then make the change and make a 3-day notice and review it before it becomes final. So
It's my turn.
correct. And the other thing I would like to interject real quick before we make motions and stuff, and I'd like to accept comments from people if they have a comment before we make a motion. But I also want to share with you that there are, I don't know how many now, municipal advisory councils. There are several of them, quite a number of them, 8 or 9 throughout the county at this point in time. Because of this situation that we're having on this election and these boundaries and these complaints that come in, there are many of our municipal advisory councils that do not go through a local election process. Instead, what they do is go through the process the same way I went through for the planning commissioner seat. They have to fill out an application to be accepted to be on the advisory board, and the Board of Supervisors appoints the individuals that they want to appoint, and the community has no say in who gets appointed. So I just want to share that with you, because we are, kind of like stepping on some hot stones here. And we do have our supervisor in the room, and I'm sure she'd rather be at home. I know she started her morning very, very early. But if anybody missed it or whatever, she was at the judge's breakfast and I'm sure did a great presentation. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you, because this whole thing could just be removed from our hands completely if we can't come together.
No, it can't. It
So
cannot. Not unless we allow.
okay,
This
calm down.
Wait a minute.
Calm down.
Town hall was designed to.
Well, I know
provide
that.
provide, I know, I wrote the bylaws, and I was there, you weren't there. It was a
Okay.
platform for the people of this community to come and talk to our supervisor about our concerns. When you turn this body over to the county, you're gonna have the same kind of administration that you have now. Totally inept.
So I'm saying, let's settle down and let's come to agreement. So if you could please sit down,
Then why don't you allow me to make a motion that can put all this?
because I want to get comments on the table first. Hold on just a moment.
I had
So-
something to say also, just because
Yes.
I'm sitting here.
I was going to make a motion, so I'll wait on the
Oh,
comment.
I think it's.
I,
think
I
it's too
wanted
soon.
to, I
Wait,
wanted
wait,
to,
wait.
Calm down.
I wanted to say that Middletown, the Middletown area historically was like low income. It was underserved and severely underserved on the other side of the creek. And I want to say that's no longer like that, and that whatever is happening in Anderson Springs, they are the same. They are a mix of people who are from here, who are or were impoverished, and people who have a little more money who are contributing to our economy. And so it's like othering people is just not cool, period.
So, okay, no, that's totally true.
Want to comment too?
I think that we're getting in a rush about this. I agree with Monica in the respect that this is just an open forum, and we're brainstorming, Fletcher. We're not ready to make a huge decision, and there's a lot of good stuff coming. And I know you came here with the idea to open it up to everybody, and I'm sure that the county supervisor wants the same thing you do, even though you don't want to be told what to do. But at the same time, maybe we should slow down a little bit. I think it's going to go the way you want it already. I'm actually for what, all of what you have to say. But the whole idea in my 10 years of coming to these meetings was, if you weren't from Middletown, you didn't worry about spading and neuter cats. You didn't even give a damn. If you weren't from Middletown, you didn't go out and pick up the trash on the side of the road. If you weren't from Middletown, you didn't care about the businesses. And a lot of businesses went out of business here. I mean, one of the great things M.A.T.H did is tried to keep a couple of them alive. We had nothing after the fires and when COVID hit. So Middletown as a town, I really love and respect, and we all have a connection to it. I'm not saying Anderson Springs is a bad place and those people are different. No, I'm saying that how do we keep the board Middletown and keep it fair for everybody? And I think right now the momentum's going towards just open up to everyone.
This is not
Okay.
time or place to make those decisions. I would make a motion to allow the chairperson to appoint a committee to come up with an outline of the districts and report back to this board and get it done that way. Talking about it in a setting like this is not the way to get it done and get it done efficiently.
Well, you started the motion, Fletcher.
I would agree, but
You started the fire, brother.
Well, they asked me to. It was on the agenda. They asked me to find out about the boundaries, and I did.
yes, thank you.
Well, I was going to make a motion about redrawing the lines, and mainly because I am from the south end of the county, and there's only 4 miles from the line to the casino area, and I feel like you probably should extend the southern border to the county line and also include Anderson Springs to be considered Middletown proper. However, I'm not against having a committee go in there and look at it in further detail, especially how far west you wanted to go. I think sometimes you might be able to, the map's fabulous and it's great, but you might want to maybe take into account the number of actually properties and population. If you're really going to do that, it seems like Middletown proper, just within the sewer lines, is smaller number than the surrounding communities that are surrounding it. So it seems like that would kind of be a good thing. But I would like to make a motion to at least consider only addressing maybe just the Middletown district the way it is now, to just at least extend south to the county line.
If we do it at all.
If you do it at all, yes. Yes.
So was that a motion? Okay, so.
No.
So we're going to have one more comment?
Okay, yes, my comment is that I just wanted to address what Pat said. No one was suggesting to cut Anderson Springs out of the mass. What I was suggesting was that they should have their own representatives as a bedroom community outside of the Middletown area. You know, if you live in Anderson Springs, you say you live in Anderson Springs. You don't say you live in Middletown. If you live in Hidden Valley, you say you live in Hidden Valley. You don't say you live in Middletown. I think that Middletown needs a rep, someone who actually lives here, who walks the streets, who knows the people, who goes to the post office and the senior center and the library and actually uses its facilities. I think it's erroneous to think that someone who does not live in Middletown can represent Middletown. The other thing is, I honestly, I just saw, you know, discussion of bylaws on the agenda. I did not see in any way that this was discussion of the boundaries. Did I miss something? Because I would have had, you know, another 50 people in this room. Okay, so I think that there's no way we should be making a vote on this. I'm happy to have a discussion, but honestly, there should be no vote on it, and I move that there be no vote.
Hello, I'm Tanya Streetic, and I don't get, on some levels, I don't understand what this hoopla is all about. Because if you want to be represented, you sit out here in these seats and you vote, or you come up for public comment. These people are just up here facilitating this meeting. These are the people that have the say. At least from what I understand. So it really doesn't matter who's up there and where they live, and on so many levels. It certainly doesn't matter that they have to live within this tiny little boundary of Middletown. That's ludicrous, in my opinion, because there's so many issues that we all, and if it's an issue for little Middletown, we're here. A few people are here. And I have not attended math forever, but I know that there have been several residents from right here in Middletown on this board in the past. I mean, from the sewer district, if that's what you're talking about. And so to say that we haven't been represented up there on the board, those 5 people, is erroneous. Thank you.
Hi, Tom. You have something to add?
Tom Lasik, I'm not from this district. I don't have a dog in this hunt, but just from a perspective, sometimes that might be useful. The district that I'm in is District 4. The area council that I'm in is Big Valley Area Council. The meetings are held in District 5. I don't live in Big Valley. Okay, it doesn't seem to matter. You know, I was over on the east or on the other side of the lake to was it Surth? Yeah, and one of Crandall's districts and areas, and they have a discussion on boundaries, but it's just, you know, are we going to be in Surth's boundary, or you know, it's not. This is the only one I'm observing that they try to like redistrict within the boundary that I'm aware of. So I just want to share that. The rest of the area council seem to be pretty open to everybody. It doesn't really matter. You know, we don't even live in Big Valley. We live in half an hour away, but that's our shot. That's who represents us. We feel we're being represented. Anyway, just an observation.
And I will add that both Tom and Margot live in Lakeport, and they have now attended several of our meetings here in Middletown because they care about various different communities throughout Lake County, because we are one big county.
And point of record, I don't live in Lakeport.
Oh, you don't?
No, I live like almost near the Mendocino line. Up in the hills and the mountains, it takes me half an hour to get to Lakeport.
Yeah.
So I relate to a lot of the conversations I hear about, people drive in. But that's our town. You know, Kelseyville's our town. We go to both of them every day. We know the owners, store owners by name. It's part of being in a county that we have, and it makes it a good place to be. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Fletcher wrote the bylaws, so we're trying to get it fixed. And so maybe Fletcher has some input
One
that we
thing
can
I've
use
learned-
to fix the problem.
One thing I've learned in my 85 years of living on this planet is that my skin has to get pretty thick. So we have never, that I can remember, worried about whether a person lived in Loch Lomond, South County, West County, didn't matter. If you're willing to come and offer to serve up there, that's great. No one cared. We never checked anybody, never.
Except elections.
Well,
Elections and who's sitting up there.
elections are a little different, but I have no problem with calling everything in that district Middletown. I don't have a problem with that. I don't care. And for a sewer district, people talk about sewer. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. The sewer district, it comes from Lakeport. That's where the sewer district is. It's not in Middletown. There is no sewer district in Middletown. So if you're going to use boundary, get your facts right. So
Okay.
so anyway, I would make a motion. I still want to make a motion that the chairperson appoint a committee to review what's been said here tonight, take into consideration all those facts, come up with some kind of a plan, present it to this board and to this committee for their review. Talk about it, go back and revise it if it has to be done, but that's the best way to do it, not in an open meeting without anything in front of us
Ad hoc.
to look at. So that's my recommendation, that this body give the chairperson the authority to appoint that committee to study the bylaws on the subject of districting for election. Thank you. That's my motion.
And I agree.
got a
I
comment.
agree.
I
We
wanna
we have our first complaint, formal complaint over this issue, and we got to have a solution where we don't give up a whole frickin' night over one person's complaint. And if it means expand it to everybody, then we do it, in my opinion.
Excuse me.
Wait.
Okay.
I think that
Okay. Well, anyway.
I've been
the motion?
silent through this whole, for the most of it, and,
Thank
and
you,
I,
Bill.
I think that the point is, this is to review the bylaws. Part of the bylaws that we would be reviewing is the use of boundaries and boundary lines. So that's just part of it, not just one thing that would be in the motion. So as far as I'm concerned, the motion would be to just make the committee to review the bylaws and update the bylaws.
Is that a friendly amendment?
Okay,
I accept.
that's my comment.
think the committee should be able to update. Did you say the
committee
should update?
Okay.
Madam Chairman, will
We've
you
had-
please tell the members to use the mic or shut up?
Okay. All right. So, calling this meeting to order again. Okay, so. No, we have to go on the March agenda. We've had 3 motions on the floor. None of them have been seconded yet. So I
I'm make a second to Bill's
amended motion.
Amended motion that we look at the bylaws.
Okay.
Good.
So we got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, all opposed? Okay, so we're gonna look at the bylaws.
But weren't we supposed to put a committee together to look at the bylaws?
Yeah, but I can do that later.
Yeah.
So the motion was that the chair put together a committee.
Gotcha.
Don't have to do that at this particular moment
Gotcha.
in time.
Okay.
So,
Thank
okay.
you. That should have been in the motion.
Thanks for the extra work there, Mr. Thornton.
I'm not sure on that, yeah.
Okay, so the March agenda.
Determine that.
For the March agenda, we have, Tom had mentioned whatever about inviting Elliot Horowitz and Chris from the Cobb area to come and do a presentation. Is this body interested in that presentation? Yes. Okay, so I will check into that. And then the other thing.
Talk to Monica about the.
And then
She has a hard copy. No, she has a hard copy of the bylaws.
Try not to talk to you, Monica.
Oh, it's okay. And then the other item, that, today there was a general plan, meeting, and the, area plan folks were, throughout the county or whatever, were invited to attend as well. And they're covering some topics, but one of the things also that, Maria, the director of the Community Development Department, had mentioned, is that the deadline is being pushed out a little bit, so it's falling more into June, when this is all going to be re-looked at again. So again, we have what's called the LAPAC group. That's the area plan for the Middletown area, and we have several members that are part of that, including Bill, who's the representative for the math group on that committee. But what they are planning, she had mentioned what they are planning to do is to bring that back through the municipal advisory councils. As I just said a few minutes ago, there are many municipal advisory councils throughout the county now representing the various entities that, have interested people from the community in attendance. So they would like to bring that information back through us, through the math group to take a look at. So along those lines, and we had discussed this before, is I would like to see us put on upcoming agendas talking about the area plan and what we want to see in this community. Because we have certain members that have attended. I know Fletcher has attended the meetings for the area plan, but again, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bill and Fletcher, but I don't think, the people that have participated thus far are representative of the entire community. So, yes, it was a good representation, but this is the area plan we're talking about for the next 20 years. So, I would just like to see us get more into talking a little bit about certain things that are important to us, much like John was talking to us from APC, that we need to take the survey and we need to identify what's most important for us. And when they see a large number of people all focused on one item, that's the item that hopefully we'll see some change to.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out
so
there.
you want to put that on the agenda?
Yes.
Good. Good.
Anybody opposed to that?
Question.
I'll repeat your question, Fletcher.
There was a motion to adjourn in a second.
Okay. Okay. So moved. Anybody opposed? Everybody in favor?
I'll second.
Yay, let's go.